What is up, everyone? JD here. I hope you're all doing well today. Today I'm really excited to be doing my full review of the MKM Goccia. The MKM has a 3.25 inch Bowler M390 blade. Really interesting cut. Does have the drop point, and it does have a really unique curve to the belly, and I've really actually found that I do enjoy this. It does have enough belly for the push cuts to actually go through, because I actually angle down when I'm breaking down my cardboard boxes, so it actually sits perfect on there and it doesn't slide out too much. I've had no issues kind of pushing into the thumb, and it sits perfect in the path, so I really do like that. And I like the fact that they came down with the tip. It keeps you from having to go up like a drop point to do your utility and draw cuts. Really well done. I like this a whole lot. It is thin behind the edge, not ultra thin, but it is thin behind the edge without getting thick super fast, even having a thicker stock. The flat grind on it is really well done. The edge and performance on the M390, really good from MKM. Highly, at least for the example that I'm encountering here. Has a 4.6 inch titanium handle. It is a liner lock integrated into the titanium handle, and the liner lock is stainless steel. It gives you generous knockdown to be able to get to it, and what I have found works best for this particular lock is actually resting your thumb in on top and just sliding left, and it disengages really easily. At first I was trying to do this, and because it wasn't quite enough substance for me to come into the side with my large fingers, I found that it actually is better to kind of start over top of the show side and lay your finger down on top and disengage like so. Really works a whole lot easier and smoother like that, and I think that's because there's a lot more meat taking on the duty of engaging with the liner lock. So really like that. I did upgrade to skiff bearings. I happen to have an extra set for another knife that I was going to put them on, that I ended up not doing it because the factory bearings perform so well. It wouldn't have made a difference on the upgrade for that knife. For here, I felt like it did a little bit better of an upgrade, and it was ceramic bearings in a phosphor bronze washer. You can see the bronze down in there. They had the steel bearings inside of like the cage, like the where it's open on one side. I just wanted to upgrade this again to have a little bit more premium hardware in there. It wasn't necessarily that it had to have it. Overall length, a very good EDC size of 7.9 ounces. And considering that there is absolutely no milling on your titanium slabs here at all, this is a very good 4.77 ounce weight on this knife. So they did do a really good job of keeping it under that 5 ounce mark, which makes this really easy to carry and pocket. Now, let me talk a little bit of some of the things that I like. We'll do some comparison knives, and then we'll do a couple comparable knives. So if you're enjoying the video, do me a favor though, leave a like. It helps me with the YouTube algorithm. And if you enjoy the content, I'd love to have you subscribe and turn on notifications for alerts for future videos. If you enjoy it, totally up to you. You guys are fantastic that are out there supporting me in the community. Such a great community. You guys are so awesome. I really appreciate it. Let me go through the rest of the knife. Not only does it have the titanium handles, but it gives you this really well done titanium back spacer that is up out of the way with that lanyard hole. Does not influence the ergonomics at all. You feel it, but it's not hot. Like, you know it's there, but it's not poking or uncomfortable or anything like that. This titanium pocket clip is awesome. I do not even know that it's there. I feel a little bit of the tip right here in the meat, but it does not affect the carry at all. They did such a good job. It is inset, has flat screws, comes in and out of the pocket perfect. This tree age sap design here that gives you texturing for extra grip doesn't affect it coming in and out of the pocket. Titanium pivot with a pivot collar. Really beautiful knife. I like this a whole lot. Action's really good. Like I said, when I first got it, I did think that this was like way too stiff, way too hard. And then I realized that, you know, just resting your finger on it really just makes it operate like any other liner lock for me. No issues at all. And man, that action. It was coming out fast with the steel ones, but with the rocket glides, it feels like it's just a little bit more snappier, which is impressive because it was already really snappy. I love that sound. Listen to that sound. Doesn't that sound good? Really awesome sound. Anyway, really good action. Whoops. It does have a, I don't think you're going to be able to see it, but if you can see the ball bearing there, it has a little bit of a ramp track that's already built in. So if you get it like right, it engages right there. So you see how it like falls in. It's in the ramp now. Now it's sitting against the blade, and it gets so smooth. So smooth. Really well done. This flipper tab, being low profile, was worried about it in the pictures, but it actually works really good as a light switch. I mean, I can't fail it. Like, I'm going to try to do it as light as I can. I might be able to if I try really hard. No. And that could be the Rocket Glides just having a slight advantage. There we go. Failed it. It's not locked in. I should be able to close it. Yep. I had to try really hard, though. Just the lightest bit of a light switch really actuates this knife really well. This knife is ready to work. It's ready to do a lot of hard duty, a lot of hard use, and it's going to do your precision cuts really well. I'm really happy with the M390 treatment that MKM has done on this knife, which is why it was my 2021 new knife of the year winner. I just like this better than anything else that had come out. I'm not sponsored in any way, shape, or form. That was just totally my opinion. I think it has a really cool, unique look with really good ergos, and I'm not afraid to use the knife, which is what we all should want out of our pocket knives. I really don't want, not in this stage anyway, I don't want any save queens. I want knives that I'm going to be able to take confidence in using and know that it's still going to look good later, because I do like to have a little bit of a show quality about it. Let me go ahead and get into the comparison knives. I'm rambling on my thoughts and impression, so let me run it through the usual suspects. First up, the Spyderco Yojimbo 2. Yojimbo, as you all know, has a 3.125 inch 20 CV blade steel, has a 4.5 inch G10 handle with an overall length of 7.5 inches, and it comes in at 4 ounces. So you can see these two knives are very comparable. Like, they are very close in size. You do have more presence on the Yojimbo 2's blade, but as far as length and carry profile, they're going to be very similar. We're going to also bring out my Spyderco PM2. This one here has a 3.4 inch S45VN blade steel with a 4.81 inch G10 Flytanium handles. Overall length 8.25 inches and coming in at 3.75 ounces, so about an ounce lighter. But you can see the cutting profile and cutting edge very similar to the PM2, because the PM2 has that finger choil on it. So you look like you're getting a little bit more cutting edge out of the Goccia. I like saying Goccia. It's the Latin in me. So I don't want anybody out there thinking like he doesn't even know what the name of the knife is. I know it's the Goccia. I saw the unveiling of the knife, but doesn't Goccia sound hot? Like, so much cooler. Now, the handles on the PM2 are going to be a little bit more robust, a little bit bigger, and probably a little bit better for the ergonomics, but really, the Goccia has awesome ergos. I really do like the ergos on it. Let me bring out some other knives out here for you guys to have a look at. We're going to bring out the crossbar lock knives for you to take a peek at. So another really popular EDC knife that is very good for carry profile is going to be the Benchmade Bug Out, which has a 3.24 inch S30V blade steel, 4.22 inch G10 Flytanium crossfade handles, 7.46 inches overall, and coming in at 2.3 ounces. So you can see this is very similar here. Cutting edge is very similar. Sharpening choil very similar at the pivots. I might have it just a touch to the left, huh? There you go. And handle length, very similar. Ergos, I'm going to give that to the Goccia here because the Bug Out is very thin and slicey, and honestly, Flytanium did a fantastic. These scales should come stock. That's how good the crossfade scales are for the Bug Out. It completely transformed this knife, but the Goccia just has a little bit more going on for me, what I like and how it feels in my hand. You would have to make that determination on your own. You're going to have a preference for you, your hand size, how you hold and grip the knife. this is just my opinion when it comes to ergos. It's very subjective. Let's go ahead and bring out the SIG K320. I really like this knife. This is a good work knife here. This is a knife you want to consider if you're just going to buy it and use it, and you don't care about aftermarket upgrades or customizing or anything like that. You just want a knife that's going to work. That's your dude right there. He has a 3.5-inch S30V blade, 4.5-inch polymer handles, overall length 8 inches, and coming in at 4.16 ounces. This knife is very comfortable in hand, and it has a gradual increase in size from top and bottom. So the ergos are really good. I'd say the ergos are probably the best out of all the knives on the table, which is probably crazy sounding, I'm sure. But I really think the Goccia is right behind it, and then I would probably put the Bug Out third. But the crossfade scales, I'm telling you guys, if you have a Bug Out, you should check those scales out. They are awesome. Let me go ahead and bring out my budget knife comparisons. Hopefully these knives help you understand size, and then when we do a profile comparison, they help you there as well. First up, the Civivi Elementum, which has a 2.96-inch D2 steel, acid etched by myself. It has the 4.03-inch handles with micarta scales, overall length coming in at 6.99 inches and weighing a lightweight 2.89 ounces. Very familiar and popular knife in the EDC community, and for good reason. Very neutral ergos, very good performing hollow grind, very good edge by Civivi. There's a reason that knife is so popular. You can see the Goccia is a little bit bigger, but honestly, not by much. Very good presence for carry on that Goccia. Really good job by MKM. Next up is going to be the CJRB Feldspar. Has a 3.5-inch D2 steel that's been stone washed really nicely. I like to show that off every time I bring it out because it's such an awesome stone washing. I want to see other manufacturers try to do that on their knives. A couple of them do. You can see that the handle length is 4.6 inches, and it has the burlap micarta in this instance on that Feldspar. Overall length 8.1 inches and coming in at a very reasonable and lightweight 3.67 ounces. Like, that's a super lightweight for a bigger knife. You can see here it compares pretty favorably to the Goccia. The Goccia overall 7.9 and the Feldspar is 8.01, and you can see out on the blade tip here, that's about where it stops. That's where you're probably getting your difference, because on the handle length it's really close. Really close, so barely much of a difference at all. We're going to go ahead and take these knives off the table, and then we'll do some profile comparison so you can see thickness and pocket presence. All right, so we're going to start with the Elementum. You can see here the Elementum and the Goccia. I'm going to say that's even. That's so close, I'm calling that even. Go ahead and bring out the Feldspar, which has the contoured scales. Feldspar, yeah, I was going to say, am I holding that evenly? There we go. A little bit thicker on the Feldspar. We'll go ahead and bring out the Bug Out, which is going to be the thinnest knife in the comparison here. And you can see the Bug Out's a little bit thinner. The thickest knife, because of the way that it's designed, is definitely going to be the K320. I always do this for you guys so that you can see where it's at its smallest point. It's going to be a little bit thinner. That's what I was talking about. This contouring is what makes this makes the ergonomics so great on that knife and so comfortable in hand. We'll go ahead and bring out the Yojimbo 2, which compares to the Paramilitary 3 or the Para 3 as far as thickness. You can see they're about the same. Go ahead and bring out the PM2 with the crossfade scales, which should be thicker. But again, the gain for the ergonomics with the crossfade are really good. So there's some of your profile comparisons. Let's go out and bring out some comparable knives, and then we'll wrap this bad boy up. So the first knife that I'd like to bring out that I think compares really well is going to be the ProTech Malibu. As you can see here, the Malibu coming in at 7.5 inches versus the Goccia coming in at 7.9. Both are really good EDC sized knives. You have a 3.3 inch reverse Tonto here on the ProTech Malibu, but you have a 3.25 inch on the Goccia. Where you get the difference on the length is just how the tip comes out. So I think both of these are really well done models that give you four-finger grip without being oversized, which brings a really nice carry profile to the knife, and that's why I think the Goccia MKM did such a good job with the Goccia. Another knife that I think is very comparable is going to be the Civivi Imperium. I think this is another one. It's a little bit more slender and just a touch longer, but I think from a carry profile for an EDC knife, I think this is very, very comparable. Two more knives that I want to bring out quickly just to do a comparable knife, or a knife that I believe are comparable. I'm going to bring out the CJRB Scoria. And you can see here the Scoria is a little bit bigger, but the Scoria has that bug out thinness going to it. So profile on it's going to be a little bit nicer because it is really thin and slicey, but I think like from a look and the type of carry that you have here, you got the titanium pivot collar, titanium thumb studs, you got titanium pocket clip, milled pocket clip on the Scoria, and you can get the MKM with micarta handles and the titanium pocket clip and backspacer and pivot. So I think these are very comparable knives, a little bit different in size, but very, very comparable. One last knife that I want to bring out here that I think is also very comparable is going to be the Gannett from QSP. This one here has a 3.25 inch, 154 cm blade steel, and it does have the really beautiful dark green micarta with the raindrop carbon fiber bolster, so it gives you that kind of premium feel. But when you get it in hand, all of these knives that I talked about, when you get them in hand, you can tell they have good ergonomics, good size, good grip. Ergos are really outstanding. They have really good performing steels that are ready to do work. So that's why I think these knives compare really, really well to the Goccia, and kind of why I like the Goccia so much. A really good knife. These are all really good options, but you can get the micarta version below that $200 price point with M390 and titanium hardware, and that's why I think it's such good value. I also really think that they have a nice dark wash version of this. It looks really good, but I just got sucked into this really clean titanium look. I mean, the scale is just really cool looking to me. Almost looks kind of like, all right, maybe that's the sun and these are the planets going around it, but I really think the tree bark look is what they were maybe going for here. I don't know that. I just think that's kind of what comes to mind when I look at this. Really just beautifully done. I love this knife a lot. Anyway, that's my review of the Goccia, aka, if you're talking to JD, Goccia. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate all the support. I hope all of you have a fantastic week. And until next time, peace.